Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Evernerds podcast. I'm HydroCannon58, the wonderful voice of Hydro 5 and Cannon 8. Here today, I have with me Lightspeed.
Hi there, I'm Lightspeed of Lightspeed Reviews, and that was the longest intro I've ever heard, Hydro.
Oh, thank you. And our third guest here today is Mr. Arty Quill.
Hello, everybody. This is Arty Quill, and I am very happy to be part of this podcast.
And we are going to be talking about the Season 6 finale. Alright, so basically the summary of what happened in the finale. There was basically a wonderful big surprise, a changeling invasion, where the main six have been replaced with changelings, the princesses are gone, and that includes Cadence, Luna, and Celestia have been taken. So who's left to save the day? It is Starlight Glimmer.
Even the baby Flurry Art.
You want the baby to save the day?
Sorry. No, you forgot the baby. You forgot the baby.
I don't think they replaced.
You know?
I don't think they replaced the baby. I hope not.
They
Oh, God.
kidnapped the baby. You
Okay.
We're gonna have two of them.
That'd be weird if there was another Flurry Heart. Okay, I'm gonna continue with that. Basically, Starlight Glimmer, Trixie, Thorax, and Discord help to save the day, and we see what happens in this merry band of wonderful. What am I talking about? They are the ones that are going to be saving the day for the finale. I'm not really going to mention the ending. I think we'll just discuss it into the review already. So that is basically the summary of the finale, which was 2 parts, of course. All right, so before we start, I want to go over that the 4 categories that we're going to go over is story, characters, dialogue, and music or / songs. All right, so let's go into the first one. It is story, which also is a sublet in that is story, setting, and theme. And the first thing I wanted to go over is at the beginning of this thing, we see that Starlight got an invitation to the village, which still has no name. Okay,
that stymies you and everyone else.
It's
But,
our town.
Another thing is, in terms of continuity, if you think back to the episode Slice of Life, then, well, of course, the Crystalling episodes, or the episode that Thorax was introduced in, basically, if you take that episode, put it in front, and then you remember Slice of Life, a changeling showed up during the wedding. Then you take this episode, because Thorax shows up in Ponyville, like, right away, like, was he living there this whole time? And then you remember the episode Slice of Life, and it's like, oh, so that was him.
Yeah.
Weird. But yeah, the return to our town, which is
Wonderful village name, you know.
Life is a joy.
a wonderful
town.
and we do see that Starlight is a little apprehensive to return to becoming a leader, and that's what starts the arc. And she's at first very afraid and very judging of what people think of her, which kind of honestly a lot of people can relate to, given
Definitely.
how they've messed up, how they've made a mistake, and how they feel about that. And with Starlight Glimmer, to be quite honest, when I first saw her, this psychopath, I wish she had been locked up. Honestly, because seriously though, Twilight, you are a naive little girl. You need to learn there are enemies. You cannot talk down. This is
Exactly. Vladimir Pony.
for God's sake. For God's sake. My Little Pony, friendship is magic. Transformers showed war. Showed basically that you couldn't talk Megatron out of anything. What you had to do was basically kick the crap out of him.
And then he changes.
And then it's like, and to be quite honest, this was just something, a hastily slapped together redemption. And, oh God, I'm sounding like one of the people who's been throwing Starlight and Luna under the bus, which, by the way, I don't think that Luna's redemption was ever hastily slapped together. It was the first redemption. The first one, which everyone seems to forget yet, because Discord and Sunset Shimmer did it better. They decided to throw Luna under the bus, especially Sunset Shimmer did it better. Luna's just copying. I'm like, excuse me, have you forgotten how the show started?
Exactly. Yeah, like Luna was what really set all of this off with the whole redemption thing. And to tell the truth, I had the same thoughts on Starlight in the beginning. Like I thought, oh, lock her up forever. She is insane. But then, I'm serious. Over this last 2 seasons, I've actually been warming up to her as a character. I'm starting to enjoy her, actually, probably a little even more than Sunset Shimmer, just because we see her
You
more
might
often.
want to start running. The fanboys are coming.
Yes, I know.
So
Anybody
let's
out
get
there
on to another-
triggered?
Let's get out into another point, the changeling buildup. Now, I honestly felt that that the buildup to it, I'm like, couldn't this have been what the previous seasons had done, an overarching storyline? I thought that should have been some sort of buildup to this, because for me, the first few viewings of watching the thing, the changeling invasion came out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, what?
Well, it started out because of a black dot going across the crystal. I'm not gonna say crystal ember, the crystal kingdom, and then that's just how so much stuff about theories and all that came back for the invasion. And of course, it did happen in the finale, but it was just it's right. I agree with Lightspeed. It kind of came out of nowhere. But it was kind of...
If you had done something like this when you did with the Grand Galloping Gala and Equestria Games, this would have been fine. We would have been on the edge of our seat. This would have been good. But this just...
But at least it happened in the finale. I mean, even though if you weren't part of those people who saw the early footage of the finale, that there was this whole thing happening. If you watch the episode itself, you can kind of tell there were changelings if you didn't know from the summary, because everyone is acting weird. And the main six in general, you could tell that was happening. And it was interesting how they did it. They basically made a good plan, too. What is it about changeling invasions that are the best plans out of all the villains? I don't know,
but even in the comics, it was there was a comic set in between this and what happened. Turns out Chrysalis had gotten loose, so this is set up for what she was doing. That was setting up. That comic was basically setting this up. So I guess we did get some sort of setup. I just wish there had been something more to that led up into this.
If I can get a word out on this, I kind of feel like the episode when they introduced what's his name, Thorax was a good build up for this, because there was something in that episode that I kind of wish that had happened. I kind of wish that it would have showed him going back to the Changeling Kingdom, because remember, at the end of the episode, he said that he was going to return and teach friendship to his fellow changeling back at the Hive. He stated he would do that.
Yes, but this probably something like Chrysalis kicked him out because she calls him a traitor during the third act.
Definitely.
So something definitely happened there, and he started living in Ponyville, and he got to know Cranky and Matilda, and he got to attend their wedding later on.
Actually, the episode where they introduced Thorax actually came in before the wedding. Sure, he had a cameo there, but when they actually introduced him as a character, happened after the wedding. Actually,
that is interesting.
Actually, in continuity, but this does make sense. Thorax showing up, because I think that this episode, the episode is set right before Slice of Life, or at least a few weeks before that. So those weeks could have been in between to get Chrysalis to kick him out, and he just runs to Ponyville.
Yeah.
How the hell they didn't know? Only the kids noticed him?
I don't know. I have this feeling.
Anyway, I think we're rambling.
I'm just gonna point out that I almost forgot that there was a changeling in Cranky Matilda's wedding. I don't know if that could be Thorax. I really feel like it doesn't somehow, because that doesn't seem like the same.
It kind of.
That changeling looked a little bit more confident. The Thorax, when you saw him in the beginning, he was way too nervous. I don't know. That could be that's just speculation.
Now, anyway,
let's go on to the next part for this that I have part of is the Starlight's character arc that's happened for this finale.
Now, her entire arc, a friend of mine has said that this should have been the season opener, but then, like I said before, a lot of this Thorax would have been a character written out of nowhere, and you would have had no episode. And the episode that Starlight mentions, like the episode that Thorax was in, you see it like it airs later, and it's like, wait, these episodes are completely out of order, and it's like, you wouldn't be able to make sense of that. Not to mention her arc. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, she started off crazy, but it was all because of one event that happened, which, by the way, a lot of people said it's stupid, it's petty, you bitch, you need to move on. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, but I had to call out some BS on that because a lot of people, like Luna, have either had a lot of regrets or some bad memories or something that just happened really, really bad and it's something they can't get over. And for some, it could drive them a little crazy. And what happened with Sunburst, she got jealous, or rather, she was afraid that because he got his cutie mark, that he was going to be better than her, that they weren't going to be equals, that they weren't going to be friends anymore, and she just ran away because of it.
Exactly. And
And
you
I
know,
thought,
oh, sorry.
and I've gotten into petty arguments with my own best friends, and sometimes I feel bad, and whenever I'm with them in the room, I feel like I'm walking on thin ice, like I'm worried something bad is gonna happen. But then I find out I'm okay, I'm fine. Which is what Starlight was
Right.
going through when she showed up back in the town, and everyone started asking her all these questions, like they needed someone to advise them. Like that town looked like it didn't have any sense of a structure going on. That ever since she left, things have been kind of in disarray for a while.
Right.
So maybe perhaps with this leadership role that she's got going on, maybe there's a chance that she could go back and be their mayor this time officially. What do you think
Yeah.
about that,
Wow,
Hydro?
a leader. Wow. Well, the idea of all this finale is that, of course, they were talking about how she is somehow talking about how she could be a leader, and of course, in the beginning, they show she was way too nervous for it, and in this entire finale, they pretty much go, including for her character development, that she can help lead others without magic, without having to depend on magic to help her as a crutch. Now she can do it on her own, that she knows she can do it with magic. And now it just shows that she is a lot more confident in how she is, and it can help her as a character in future seasons as well. I really liked it in this finale how they did focus on that more, and like in the earlier part of the seasons they showed that she was too dependent on magic. That's why I thought it was interesting they had an explanation why they couldn't use magic in the part 2 of the finale and
Yeah.
everything. And
Indeed, which was
Yeah,
rather
like
an interesting take.
yeah, in this episode, I feel like this was an episode where Starlight, excuse my Frozen reference, lets it go when she discovered
Arty, I'm sorry, but no, you're no longer.
all right, let's
We're
already talk.
gonna
Come
kick
on.
you out of the cafe for that.
No, let's already talk. Come on.
All right. This was her moment when she discovered that she doesn't have to be afraid, and I know the feeling that she was going through. How she feels like after such a big argument, after a huge something as bad as she did, after some friends had forgiven her, that she would feel like she'd be walking on ice. I know how that feels, and for me, this episode was very relatable in that source, and as you said, I totally agree with you what you said, Lightspeed, about all that, and I I really think this episode was really good for her story arc. It kind of wrapped it up, and wrapped it up and put it to bed. It was perfect.
Let's move on to our next category, characters. Let's start off with the main 6.
But I will say this just quickly, just getting this out of the way, and Artie's thinking the same thing. I know him well enough. The main 6, yeah, they didn't do much. They did something at the end, but that was about it. That was fine. But as for the new guys that show up, the main 4, to be quite honest with these side characters, I was half expecting Gilda and Ember to show up along with them.
Same.
That would have actually made it work. And with Thorax's side of things, it's like, wow, look at you. You're really confident. You've really matured, man. My God. And then not to mention, you get all big and then you turn
King
Hulk
Thorax.
green.
Or
Either
Prince Thorax.
King or Prince Thorax. That's up for debate still.
We heard King in the episode, if I recall correctly, and just to
Oh, yeah.
see him be so confident, and it's just, oh my
So
god,
confident, doesn't he have?
all the
Sorry.
people, I'm sorry, all of the girls who decided to be changelings in the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic fandom. I think I found your heartthrob.
Oh yeah, like so swagger. He doesn't even need to speak.
Hmm.
Oh, we could go on. I could go on for hours about why he could not be in, why he couldn't have been speaking, and I'm sure others are too.
The way and the way he talks, the way he goes about it, kind of reminds me of you, Hydro, just a little bit.
Oh, thank you very much.
Because the way he speaks, the way how friendly and how relaxing his voice is, that's what I mean by that.
Oh, okay, I get you. Well, I gotta say there were a lot of characters that did definitely return, and of course that would be Thorax, Trixie, and Discord, and I think a lot of
Oh
people
yeah,
were...
Trixie. She definitely in this episode channeled a lot of AJ, and Discord was more or less Rainbow Dash for this episode. It was fun to see. It was fun to see Trixie not be on her ego so much, but she was more encouraging with Starlight. She was being what AJ was in season 1 to Twilight, being the one to give advice, be the one to be the right hand, and be the one to pick her up. And that, I thought, oh my god, this is so cool.
Okay, may I say something about Trixie, about all this? I really don't like how Twilight has been treating her throughout this entire season. I mean, you get Starlight, who was a leader of a communist cult, and they're like, oh, okay, you're a friend now. I've learned to forgive. And then we find a petty magician that was full of herself. Oh, I can't forgive her.
Talk about a 180 right there.
But Trixie was a delight in a sense. I don't know. She's just, even her as a character grew in this finale even more than the season I've seen, really. Unless you of course, the episode where Trixie and Starlight met each other and became friends. You see about more how Trixie is in this whole situation, how she's been helping her so much as a friend, which she's never had much as herself. It's just amazing. It's just, all these characters are just like all building on each other well. It's just amazing to me.
Absolutely.
And then there's Discord, who was acting so much like Rainbow Dash in this episode. Like season 1 Rainbow, I couldn't stand him throughout it. I'm like, oh my god, will you grow a pair and be patient, for crying out loud? You're getting a little too high on your horse there, pal. No pun intended. I understand you want to save Fluttershy. You're that loyal, but you need to simmer. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, come on. He wanted Fluttershy back. Come on. He'll go crazy without her. I know
he wanted his wife.
It's a bit too dependent that he needs his waifu to survive now. If he didn't have his magic.
Yeah, I was just
more like Discord's therapist.
Oh, he is a little addicted.
A little addicted, especially when you feel the torture you have to go through.
Either that, or it's like that's his mother, and it's like, oh, the cub just became the big guy. Do not mess with this cub when it comes to his mama. I'm sorry, you guys who are fans of Discord. Please don't come after me just because I compared him to a little cub and Fluttershy is his mummy. Well, technically she is, given how stern she's had to be with him. Think about it, guys. Think about it.
Oh, something that I probably should have added. We also get a quick cameo of Luna in this episode.
Would you call it quick?
Well, not really quick. It's important.
She was like integral, and they really point out how, like she said in the episode, I understand how you feel in the dream and everything. It's like, oh my gosh, I feel so great about the continuity and the happiness about the connections of the villains of the past that are like, they understand each other now, and like, I was
waiting for so long for a conversation between Luna and Starlight, and I got it. I was so happy when they had this conversation. They talked to each other for a while. That was great. And the fact, that in the second time that you see Luna, she's being attacked by changelings. She gets caught by the changeling in the dream.
Which actually didn't make sense to me. In the dream world, you had to actually be completely still. I thought it would have been more preferred if she was just she was just sleeping and they kidnapped her in her sleep and she senses it. That actually would have been a lot better, whether than just having her get dragged out of the dream sequence, which just weirded me out, to
Yeah,
be
that made
honest.
me confused because I thought that was happening as she was already kidnapped and she was trying to do it. And I thought, how would they have stopped her in the dream? It just doesn't make sense how they stopped her in the dream world. She should be powerful in the dream world.
It would
even if she's
appear-
Yeah,
unconscious.
I was just
Yeah,
yeah.
it would
That was just one of the things that stymied me to this end.
it would appear that Luna was caught in a dream.
Oh, Arty.
No, bad,
There
bad,
is a
bad,
way.
Arty,
bad.
don't be
Look out, they
don't be
fight
a
you,
barb.
Will.
don't be Barbara Dunkelman. Come on.
Okay, yeah, that's it. That's it. No ice cream for you at the cafe.
All right,
No.
so let's go on to the next part for characters is the villains, which was of course the great Queen Chrysalis that came back, the return of Queen Chrysalis, as I may say it. It is just,
Yes.
No.
I gotta say, this is just everyone's been wanting her back as much as King Sombra, but it's just
Yeah.
she was just amazing, and they even improve in her character, and there's just so much about her that shows that she's so smart, and I feel Lightspeed has a different view on it. What would you like to say? Lightspeed?
Unfortunately, I mean, after this is being said, Chrysalis, yeah, she runs off with Starlight making a pathetic attempt at a redemption scene, and Chrysalis is up for a hastily slapped redemption. I
Right.
mean, but for me, she was just a one-off villain. She showed up, did what she needed to do, she left, and she showed up in the comics, which was about it. And Changelings were fine just being a one-off, but bringing them back, despite, Brony's world building, he didn't think it was a good idea. I kind of had to agree with him a little bit. But but it seems like with Thorax and these new changelings, they're just something that DHX isn't going to do anything beyond it. At least not that we know of.
Yeah, I felt like it was
And
a little
and the
rushed.
thing is, why were the changelings there? Oh, because of lazy callback covers, shit writing. To be honest, yeah, the episode was a little shit. Okay, maybe a lot.
You can only put so
And
much
I
into
mean,
an episode. though,
do we
Lightspeed.
really need do we really need to do something with another lazy ass redemption? And at this point, DHX is going to run out of villains to redeem, and it's just. To be quite honest, I am sorry, Chrysalis fans. I am sorry, but she is a psychopath, and she needs to die.
Oh,
As a psychopath, she doesn't deserve any ounce of living. She doesn't deserve to be
And,
jailed. She needs to go.
exactly.
And to be quite honest, with everything that is going on, this psychopath is beyond redemption. I actually honestly want Celestia and Chrysalis actually
to
be
brawl it
fighting.
out.
Overarching
Yes.
story that mirrors Optimus and Megatron, like a rivalry that has to end at
Absolutely.
some point. A rivalry that
Friendship can only go so
Chrysalis is
far.
And I'm sorry if I'm sounding genocidal, but yes, I was thinking of, with the changelings and probably Thorax getting caught in the crossfire of like some sort of Order 66 like purge that takes them down. And yeah, granted that's a little dark, but I honestly think, yes, and I'm thinking just for Chrysalis and whichever changelings that are probably still loyal to her, not the ones that are loyal to Thorax, mind you.
Right. I was actually thinking that would be a really
And
cool
besides,
a battle with
And besides, it shows a point that in the real world, psychopaths like these don't get a second chance. Their second chance has already been done. The only thing you have
Right.
to do is look at them in the eye, take them down, which is a real world
Right.
point. And My Little Pony Friendship is Magic has pulled off real life points before. Why are they
Well-
so hesitant to do this? I mean, they killed a freaking Sombra for crying out loud.
Exactly.
There-
And oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead, Artie. You've been trying to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, like what he said, that friendship can only go so far. And I believe that for Chrysalis, the only two things that I believe would be fitting, because here's the truth. Originally, when I came into the episode, when I first started watching the new episode, I actually was okay with the idea of them reforming her. And this is the reason why. It's because being an insect queen, those are her children that she's taking care of. She's doing a wrong thing, but for the right reason. However, this point of view changed when I realized about the secret metamorphosis that these changelings could go through, and that they don't need to feed off love. They don't have to take it. And when this was shown in the episode, and that Chrysalis have been lying to the Changeling, I was thinking, okay, now she deserves either death or Tartarus forever. One of those two.
Yeah, to be quite yeah, she has so much potential to be the real big villain, like something for the big time. Like this is where we need to see her have her A game.
Definitely.
We need to see this.
And yeah, that does give an idea. Just a small, quick part is that with Queen Chrysalis, and everyone has pointed out so far with the transformation and everything, I had a theory with her, which I've mentioned in Arty's streams a lot. And if you're from the streams and you're seeing it now, you're probably hearing me a third time. Is that I felt like since she's teaching them to take love, I had a theory and that you can instead give love instead, and that's how it's different for the changelings. I had a theory where it could have been for Queen Chrysalis. The reason why she is doing this, taking it all, is that it must have been in her backstory that someone took love from her at first. And I felt like...
Ooh, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
And of course, that makes her into the person she becomes, or I'm sorry, the being she becomes, and she teaches it to her children, and she just doesn't want, and that's why she doesn't accept the reformation, and that she just wants revenge against having love, and just wants to go against everyone against it. That's why she doesn't want to accept this new transformation in anything.
Right.
So.
I was actually thinking, what will Chrysalis do next? Most of her army, I'm not even sure, it didn't show in the episode that anyone was still loyal to her. I'm sure there are, but it never showed that. It's making me think, what is her plan? What is she going to do? Is she going to, hopefully, I am praying that she seeks help with another villain, whether it either be T-Rex or a new person, or heck, Sombra. I mean, wouldn't it be amazing if somehow Chrysalis finds a way to bring him back to life? I could just see Chrysalis,
dear Lord,
Sombra, and then he brings him back to life. I don't know. I don't know. Why am I whispering? That was weird. That was another reference too. But you know what I mean.
I love the dramatics, Arty.
Anyway, so the lack of character usage, Flurry Heart was just there to be cute. Sunburst, I don't know why they didn't bring him back. That was the only buggus about this. No pun intended when I say buggus, bugs. Yeah, but Sunburst wasn't there for that. And
he was only mentioned once. He sent Thorax. That was why Thorax was there. And then what is Sunburst doing then? He wasn't captured. He wasn't at the Changeling kidnapping. So what is he doing?
There's probably going to be a comic. There's going to be a comic that wraps this up.
I find it a real shame that Sunburst didn't have a bigger part, because I actually think that I actually really wish that Sunburst would have a part in wrapping up Starlight's story arc. Maybe there could have been something more chemistry between Sunburst and Starlight. I mean, not that kind of chemistry. I mean,
there could have been. There
character building. Maybe he could have. Maybe somewhere in the episode, maybe he could have been one of the people who were captured. He could have encouraged her to do something. Would have probably encouraged her to forget the past, forget what everyone's done to you. This is your time to shine. And they threw that away.
Really? You just referenced Sunset Shimmer, A Time to Shine? Really?
Actually, I didn't know about that. I wasn't thinking when I was doing that.
Third thing to bring up now is the dialogue. Now, before we too much discussion, I felt like, in my opinion, the dialogue wasn't... of course, nothing is perfect, but there wasn't any faults I saw too many. There are some episodes where you feel like some characters are saying just one lines at a time. Some don't have any dialogue at all, and sometimes that's good. In this finale, I felt like with Starlight and Trixie and everyone, it just felt good, and that's where I'm going to say it for my opinion. So the first thing we could talk about is with Discord and how he's been behaving through this entire finale.
Oh yeah, bloodlust and revenge for taking his girlfriend.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
I mean,
He has been
Anyway,
complaining a
so
lot.
another
Though.
point that
I'm just
yeah,
saying that he
Discord.
was.
I'm
He's
like,
just.
okay, yeah, he's got a little bit. He's got a little bit of the rarity in him, but he was just again a lot more with the Rainbow Dash. It's just he gets all cocky, he gets all the swagger. And wait, what are you guys doing this to me again? We're talking about Discord again.
Okay, we can move on. Let's move on. I had another point where I just thought it was a
Trixie
little
in
interesting.
Discord, right?
Trixie in Discord, yes. I thought their
Yeah.
dialogue was interesting since they've never really talked before this episode,
yeah.
and they do
then
well together.
and then it's like Rarity and Rainbow Dash all over again.
Aw.
Yeah,
Or
they
Rarity
work
and
well
AJ, I
together.
should say. It's like
I-
yeah, they work well together, but they banter just like AJ and Rarity used to. Or
Definitely.
probably still do.
I mean, I kind of like the two characters that you can kind of see that they could get together. That I mean, not get together, like they could work together, and they could work together well, but they still fight in the middle. Because think about it, can you imagine Trixie's show with the help of Discord on there? I mean, she'd be
My
famous.
God.
She would be Equestria's best magician. When really it would all be Discord, but. Still, I mean, can you imagine what would happen if they actually worked together on some sort of show?
That could actually do.
I feel like a lot of people would have thought that too, but of course, in the end, where they go off into distance with flying pigs, I'd say it will go really well in their magic show.
Definitely, have that at the end of the show.
And I think
That's all, folks.
And then I think, yeah, this last point here, Thorax's character.
I'm not too sure if I want to discuss that. I don't know why I put about his character arc. I don't know if that fits in with the dialogue. Do you think?
We never. His dialogue, I think it was just fine just having him wordless, because him smiling, I think it's basically what Silver Quill has said, show, not tell. Basically, you show a few of the gestures, because I thought this story had been a little too dialogue heavy. Maybe show a few more of the visuals, be a bit more of, build up the tension a bit more in each act, to be honest. With Thorax's character, it's very interesting to see, like we said before, in characters.
Yeah. I actually did laugh out loud when he was starting to get all nervous about the changeling squad that was coming their way, and he's all shivering and overreacting about it. I was just he's like they're coming for us, they're coming. Well,
God.
I don't know, but which also reminds me of, I'm sorry, this is a little bit out of the how do I put this? Okay, what I'm about to say is a little bit out of contact about what we're talking about. But is it just me, or the changelings' helmets, the ones, the changeling helmets, is it just me, or do they look kind of like Covenant elites?
Probably. Let's talk about we are going to talk about
Now-
the last part, which is the music and songs. And what would everybody would like to say with that is that there wasn't any at all.
I thought that was fine. I mean, we don't need like a musical every finale or opening. We really didn't need it. I thought that was good. That was fine. That this is okay.
It's just odd. It's like they I feel like I keep hearing it even when it's not needed. There needs to be a song, but in
Right.
every finale there has been a song. There has been something. It's just really feels out of place to me. There wasn't a song in this time, and I do know kind of why. They wanted to focus more on the story and with Starlight and everything, and I felt like if they did add it, at least they would put it somewhere in the correct place at least. But it's fine. If there was no song, it's fine. It's just really out of place to me. Do you guys think there might have been one that would probably be necessary? I think maybe not.
I do. I
do?
think there would have been one. Well, not exactly necessary. Well, I'm not sure. It's kind of mixed feelings on this one. Is that what really got Chrysalis very famous in the first introduction was that villain song. I mean, that's one of the things. This Day Aurea, that remains one of my favorite MLP villain songs of all time. And it was just like the really cool way that there were two characters singing, one with one agenda, one with the other, good versus evil in one song. I loved that. And I kind of felt like maybe there should have been another Queen Chrysalis villain song in this episode. Even if it was short, just something.
Well, I didn't think the music was necessary. Everything was all good and fine, and it's just, and it, more or less the subtlety actually worked.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we pretty much have gone over the four main points of discussion for the podcast. There were some other key points I want to go over. What do you think was the greatest versus the weakest moments for this two-part finale?
Oh boy.
I think to be honest, and since we're wrapping up here, one of the coolest moments, well, I got to admit, one of the coolest moments was the whole regeneration bit with the changelings. That was weird. I could hear all in the same
I thought you
in the
didn't.
background.
I thought well, maybe that could have been the song at least. In the transformation sequence. Actually, you make a good point. I just thought the changelings in there at the what is it, the changeling kingdom area, no, the changeling hive, I'm sorry, they all transform. I was wondering, what about the ones that were being the main six and the princesses? Did they know what's going on? Did they transform?
Maybe that will be the Legion that Chrysalis still has loyal to her.
Because they weren't in connection.
Perhaps.
unless Chrysalis left the line open with their whatever psychic phone call they have. But they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's funny because in MLP there are some scenes that there are some small scenes that you don't know whether it's going to mean something big in the future or if it's just going to mean nothing. Like for instance, nobody could have predicted that when Cerberus left his place at Tartarus, the three-headed dog thing, no one could have predicted that was the reason why Tyrek escaped, and that they would bring that back up later on. Same thing with the little black dot; those 16 pixels led on to a changeling invasion. Those are two things that, at first glance, unless you look at it again, you probably wouldn't pick up on. But there are other things, like other little hints that would probably lead to a really great story, but they just never talk about it again.
Indeed. So let's wrap this up.
Okay, so we will end this with some closing statements. I'll go first. Is that this was an interesting finale to the point where it was exciting and has an action and story dialogue that I haven't seen in a while in the finales. Compared to, I believe that was the season 4 finale where it was Tyr against Twilight, where it was basically a Dragon Ball Z fighting thing. There wasn't really less of that in the finale. So it was interesting where they substitute that for story more this time, and I'm glad they had the right direction of it with Starlight. And I felt like the entire season was basically the Starlight Glimmer season, and everything else was filler. And the finale pretty much closed it up. And I usually rate things when I have to decide things. So if I had to rate it out of 10, as I said before, many things before, I gave the finale an 8.5 out of 10. And who would like to go next?
Right. I would.
All right.
I'd like to say that this episode was great for character building. I loved this is the episode which made me love Starlight as a character and despise yet love Chrysalis as a villain. I mean, this is the one that made me think, dang, Chrysalis could probably even be better than Sombra at this point. And I've been a big Sombra fan ever since I've seen the episode with Sombra. And I just think this was a great episode. And the best part about it is that it made me wanting more. It didn't give us every single answer. It gives us just a taste of what could happen in the future. And that's what I loved about it.
All right, go ahead, Lightspeed.
All right, this episode, yeah, like I said, it had some ups and downs, and it does have a few things that do irk me. However, I do manage to like this episode, and what can I say? It's just something that's going to be setting up for, like I said, yeah, maybe a hastily slapped together redemption for Chrysalis, but let's keep more of an open mind. Let's see where this goes. So that's it. So I guess wrapping up this review, this is Lightspeed of Lightspeed Reviews.
This has been Arty Quill.
And I've been HydroCannon58. Thank you for listening to the Evernerds podcast. And if you would like to know, this podcast will be available not in just my channel, but to Mr. Lightspeed and Arty Quill's channels, if you couldn't have told already. And I hope that you guys can spread around the podcast, see if you can share your reviews in the comments below. Thank you guys for listening, and hopefully maybe there'll be another Evernerds podcast. That's the Evernerds podcast. Thank you for listening.